The Isla Paradiso Bunch, episode 72. Welcome, Carrots here. The travellers are Craig, Judy, Diana, Josephine, Muriel, Sam, Wendy and Jerry. They're still in China and they're halfway through their 6-day stay. In the last episode, Judy completed the tomb of the first emperor, and in this episode, Craig is going to do the Dragon Cave. Now, way back, and I think it was around episode 66, but it could have been earlier, Craig started an adventure chain, You There, Stranger, followed by constructing the Vision statue, then statue construction continues, and final touches to the statue, which led to the Pilgrim's Walk. And when he got to the Dragon's Moor, he had to report in because that was the last place that he went to. And then he started another adventure chain, which it seemed to me at the time that they led on one to the other, but they could be two separate adventure chains. And the second one is what he's working on now, which is the Dragon's Moor. It starts with knowledge of the past, followed by ask about the Dragon Cave, followed by the a potion of remembrance, O Sin Pa, and the Diary of Sin Pa. With the Diary of Sin Pa, Craig had to travel to Champlain in episode 68, where he went to the Nectary and he spoke to Charlotte, who was the Nectary assistant shopkeeper there at the Nectary. She gave him the next adventure, which was speaking to the groundskeeper. She had to go and ask Yves Bernard about the Vaughan affair, because this Yves Bernard is apparently a descendant of the groundskeeper, because all of this stuff happened a long time ago. And Yves Bernard saw an opportunity and he asked for Craig to deliver him some opal. The adventure was Quid Pro Keystone. Now it took them a while to find the opal that they needed. They all went out excavating for treasure and they found a few opals, so that was good. And then in episode 69, after he delivered the opal, he got the next opportunity, which was deep within the Landgrab Chateau. He completed that opportunity, which resulted in him finding the keystone to the Dragon Cave. As you know, there is a door in the Dragon Cave that you can't open. It needs a keystone, and this is the keystone. He's just found it in the chateau in France. And now he's come back here to Shang-Simla with the keystone, and he's going to be doing the rest of this adventure chain. By the end of this adventure chain, he will have completed the Dragon Cave. Now, the adventure he's got to do now is, why, that's the keystone. Talk to Bai Louie to complete this step of the opportunity. Craig, this is your old friend Bai Louie. Welcome back to Shang-Simla. Is it true you have found the keystone that the bumbling James Vaughan lost in faraway France? I must see this keystone that can fulfill the prophecy of the Dragon Cave. Bring it to me. So Craig delivers the keystone and Bai Louie sees it and immediately gives him the next step in the adventure chain. Preparing for battle. I have grim news of what lies before you. Dong Huo, the cursed warlord of centuries past, is that which the Dragon Cave was built to contain. He was trapped previously, but now he wakes. He must be defeated by a master of the way of the resolute fist. You are that master. Train to the highest level of martial arts and break a space rock, and you will be one step closer to fulfilling your destiny. Objective: train to level 10 in martial arts, skill, and break a space rock. Then speak to Bai Louie to receive ancient coins. There's one small problem with this adventure. We got him to level 10 in the martial arts while he was in France, which means he can't complete this step in the adventure chain, so the adventure can go no further. However, I'm not going to be that easily defeated. What I did, I have a mod, Master Controller, and it lets you set skill levels, and I changed his skill in martial arts from level 10 to level 9.8, and then he was able to continue with this adventure chain. He only had to work for a little while to improve his martial arts skill to level 10, and after he did that, he went home and broke a space rock. As soon as he broke the space rock, he needed to report in. So off he went back to visit Bai Louie. He passed Diana on his way out. She was coming home from performing for tips at the market. By this time of night, Bai Louie had gone home, but not to worry, Craig soon tracked him down. And of course, Bai Louie had another part of the adventure chain for Craig to complete. The Grandmaster's Fight. I am filled with woe, Craig. Despite your success, Fate seeks to stop you at every turn. I have read more deeply into the prophecy texts. It is written very clearly that only the Grand Master of the martial arts tournament can defeat Dong Huo. He is protected by an evil spirit that only the Grand Master can break. Win the tournament, then speak to me. Since it was so late, Craig just went home and had some dinner and had a sleep for the night. Back at home, the household were relaxing. Diana came in as well. She had a little chat with Josephine. They were quite friendly at the beginning, but things deteriorated. That's Sam deciding not to wash his plate after all. Muriel just sat down to eat as well. It looks like Diana has started that argument with Josephine. Nobody else seems to be particularly worried about them. Craig's there having some green vegetables for his dinner. That's greens and herb sauce. I think that's from a mod. I've got lots of extra recipes from various mods. I don't know which one that came with. I usually get them from Mod The Sims. You buy the plants and the recipes come with the plants. Harvestables. So when you see my gardens, you see there's lots of harvestables that you don't normally see in a Sims 3 game. That's little Jerry having a muffins that she made earlier. Unfortunately, it's been in her inventory for so long that it's bad quality and she gets sick from eating it. So I very quickly removed them from her inventory. I found Wendy had a few of them too, so I got rid of hers as well. At least they've maxed out their childhood cooking skill now. They've just got to learn their blocks skill. Sent Wendy across to work on her block skill, and I'll get Jerry to join her shortly. See that it's nice to see the two little girls playing together so happily, but their relationship won't improve because they already have their relationship bar set totally green. So you can't get any better friends than that, I don't think. They're very happy in each other's company. We'll leave the little girls there and spend the rest of the video on Craig and getting him through that dragon cave. They've only got 3 days left in China, and he's going to need them all, I think, to get through that cave. Early next morning, Craig called the current Grand Master of the tournament and issued a challenge. The challenge was accepted. Craig accepted too. Now, in order to keep Craig at the Martial Arts Academy, I got him to meditate. I was hoping to have the tournament on that square, which is out in the open and easy to video, but of course, things don't always go to plan. But the current master of the tournament arrived inside the building, which is where they always arrive. I suppose I could have got Craig to call him over, but I sent Craig inside to accept the challenge. So our little fight's not going to be as well videoed as it could have been, but we get a pretty good look at it. That's who he's got to report into, seeing they're doing the weights. It's Bei Louie working out and watching them at the same time. Craig seems to be doing fairly well. I think he's a higher level than his person is challenging. So he should win this fight. He is level 10 now, and he's broken a space rock. Oh, that was a bit of effort. There isn't much of an audience there for them. They're doing a lot of shouting at each other. I think this tournament is the best of 3, and Craig's already just won the first one, so now he needs to win this second one as well, and then he will become the Grand Master of the tournament, which is what he's all about for this part of the adventure chain. Bei Louie is not very interested in what's going on. He's just wanting to get on with his workout. Craig seems to have become very successful with all of his martial arts training that he's done since he's been in France and in China. He's killing this other bloke, but then he is at a much higher rank. So that's it. It was quite quick. Only did 2 rounds, and Craig is the victor. So now he can report into Bei Louie. But not until after he has had a little chat with his opponent. See if he can make a friend there. I wonder what Bei Louie is going to have in store for him next. I'm sure it won't be the adventure that he actually is waiting to do. Craig's happy again. All that happy clapping and cheering seems to have got Bei Louie's attention, and he is now waiting for Craig to come and report in with the great news that he is victorious. Oh, next part of the adventure. What is this? Crafting the Amulet of Protection. Now you are the undisputed master of the tournament. I doubt there is a mortal alive who could defeat you in combat. Unfortunately, Dong Huo is no longer a mortal. He is not bound by the life force that binds me and you. I think it is best if I construct an amulet of righteous protection for you. Bring me 3 pieces of jade, and I will build the amulet. So Craig has to go off now and find some jade. Fortunately, there appears to be lots of jade lying around, as well as a few other bits and pieces that he can't resist picking up while he's at it. And it takes almost no time at all. And he's got his jade and he's able to report in again. He finds himself in some interesting places that I generally don't end up in, but it's fun seeing the different scenery. Stopped for a little bit of excavating. It wasn't until the next morning before Craig eventually tracked down Bei Louie to report in. He got paid for his jade, but he also had a little dummy spit. Had to go and get some platinum. Fortunately, they had platinum at home, so he could easily report in again quite quickly. Then he got given the next part of his adventure, and I think this might be one he's after. The Demise of Dong Huo. Master Craig, the time has come for you to face and defeat Dong Huo in his eternal prison, the Dragon Cave. Take this keystone, enter the Dragon Cave, find Dong Huo, and defeat him in combat. Do this, and you will forever preserve the safety of the people of Shang Simla. Go now, chosen one. Craig sets off for the Dragon Cave at a run, but then of course he is a sim, and sims like to run everywhere. He soon finds himself at the Dragon Cave and enjoys a little of the scenery. Can never resist having a quick look around behind him to see over the city from the Dragon Cave. Quite a pretty view. Meanwhile, Craig's working on that door and he seems to have gained entry. Go down the steps now, Craig. The adventure begins. The rest of this episode we will spend in the Dragon Cave. I do hope you enjoy it. It's a very complicated cave. Craig enters the Dragon Cave and looks around. He pauses briefly and wonders, should he go through all the parts of the cave he's already completed and see what new treasures have spawned? Or should he just go and put the key into the designated keyhole, the one that's sparkling and luring him? He decided he'd just go straight for the keyhole. He'd like to see what's in the rest of the Dragon Cave, the parts that he's not already been into. And the door swings open. Craig enters the final tomb of the Dragon Cave. There's fire traps that he can see straight away, but there's a set of steps inviting him to go down. He emerges into a small room with a door. It looks like he's got no choice but to go through that door. Although there is a pile of rubble there that he might clear first. You never know what goodies might be under it. It could be treasure, or it could be something he needs, like a keystone. It's always worthwhile doing a thorough search of every room before he leaves it. It turns out it was just a piece of an Egyptian sarcophagus. They've got plenty of them back in Isla Paradiso. But he'll put it in his inventory and continue on. The next room has 4 pushable statues, 4 floor switches and a locked door. It seems obvious that he needs to push or pull one of the pushable statues so that he can push it onto the one vacant floor switch. Hopefully that will unlock the door for him. It's not as straightforward as it ought to be because the pushable statue that he's able to push is on the wrong side of the floor switch that has no pushable statue on it. Lots of little puzzles in this tomb. He finally managed to maneuver the pushable statue onto the floor plate. It just fitted on one corner of the floor plate because it was slightly offset from the other 3 pushable statues and was only ever going to partially cover the floor plate from whatever direction it came from. So the door opened and he passed through a sort of hallway with 3 more doors in it. Then he found another pushable statue sitting on a floor switch. And the only thing he could do here was to pull that pushable statue off the floor switch. There is a locked door there that he is hoping to unlock. Aha! There is a wall switch in behind the pushable statue. So Craig digs deeply into the hole in the wall. Gets a few bugs. Lucky he's brave and he's experienced so he doesn't run away or faint when the bugs attack. There it is. He's unlocked that door. So far so good. Oh dear, there's lots of things to do here. Luckily, I remembered that Judy still had Pangu's axe, and I transferred it quickly across to him when I saw him using his pick to dig the other rock pile. Now he's found a floor switch that he's got to stand on. And what's that done? Oh, it's revealed a whole lot of fire traps by the look of it. Let's clear the next rock pile and see what he finds there. Probably a locked door. Yep, it's a locked door. Pangu's axe makes it so much quicker to get through. He's able to walk straight across, but the fire trap on the other side still needs to be disarmed. He probably can't do that himself. He's probably going to need to find a switch or something that he can use to disarm it. There's fire traps everywhere in this room. Looks like he needs a crescent keystone too, because there's one on the floor right in front of him. Got it. There, the fire trap is still active. He's got to find a way to... Can he cross it, I wonder? He got across. And that's deactivated, and that door is unlocked now. 4 floor traps there with the fire, and he's only disarmed one of them by crossing it. Now, looks like there is a floor switch and a pushable statue just there, and there's a hole in the wall that he can put his hand into. Got to put the walls down in this tomb because there is just so many small rooms to go into. It makes it harder to see the actual effect of where he's enclosed into, but at least we can see him. So that got rid of that fire trap by the look of it, and now he can stand on that floor switch. Wonder what happened there. Wonder if there's another floor switch on the other side. There's another hole in the wall there that he can look at, just near that door. Yes, there is another floor switch for he can stand on. Yes, he's going to now go and fiddle in that hole in the wall, see if he's got a switch in there that he can turn on or off or something. Aha, that fire trap's now gone. Excellent. Now he can put his crescent keystone into that keyhole. And that should hope for... Oh, look, he's got some treasure to collect first. Some ancient coins and a vase. He wants to go home. Don't blame you, Craig. I'd want to go home too if I were you. So you've got to finish this tome first. Now put the crescent keystone into the keyhole. And there it is. The door's unlocked and he can go through to the next room. On his left were 2 interesting-looking pushable statues. So he went over and he pulled one of them to see what might be behind it. It looked like there could be a door there to go through. Now the statue couldn't be pushed. He had to inspect it. And he soon realised that yes, it could be pulled. So he did. He pulled it and made a little space that he could squeeze through. So he made a big space that he could squeeze through. He made a huge space that he could run through. He just likes making space. I think he likes moving those statues. Going to inspect the second statue now. There's only a tiny little gap in the wall there though. Not going to worry about moving that one. Oh yes he is. He's gone back just to see if he can move it. He can move it. Look at that. There's no good reason to move it though. He just moved it because he could. Come on Craig, go and see what's through that door. The mysterious little room. Oh, there's a treasure chest. Let's hope the treasure's worth all the effort of getting in there to find it. He doesn't really need treasure, just a few coins. Well, that was an interesting little diversion, but he's here to defeat Dong Huo. So let's get out of this room and see what else he can find in the room that he just came from. Looks like there's some steps in the middle there. Let him get down those steps, I think. It's an interesting arrangement of steps. I don't think it matters which lot you go down first, so he's chosen the wide set of steps as opposed to one of the 2 narrow sets. So down at the bottom he's in another little room which has got 2 floor switches that he needs to pull or push a movable statue onto. The hallway that he needs to go through is currently all burning with fire traps. He can't possibly attempt to cross that or disarm it, so he's got to work out the puzzle. Now there's another floor switch that he's got to push or pull that second statue onto, but he can't get at it from where he is unless he goes back upstairs. So he goes up the double width staircase, back up to the room where he came from, and he goes down the narrow steps. Interesting little puzzle. Now he can pull that pushable statue onto that floor switch. Hopefully that will turn off the flames and disarm all of those flame floor traps. It did. Now, can he get to those? There's a door at the end of that hallway. Can he get to it? Yes, because he's moved the pushable statues out of the way. Is that door locked? No, he can just go straight through that door. So there he is. He's now on his way. Read. What does that say? Craig reads the notice on the wall. It says, "Trust the gaze of the statues. They look upon the path of righteousness." In other words, the path ahead is very dangerous, and Craig must pay attention to the way the statues are looking and make sure he only walks directly in front of them and along the path in which they are looking. There's a suspiciously blank piece of wall near that statue, and Craig inspects it and finds a hidden door. The door opens and reveals a small hidden room with a treasure chest inside. He opens the chest and finds a couple of relics. There's nothing else of note inside that room though, so he's able to continue on, or he may get burnt to a cinder. So here he goes through this maze, using only where the statues are looking as his guide. See what could happen to him if he had gone through the other little possible pathway. Cross to that statue, and then he can turn and come down to the next one. Cross in front of the next statue, turn and come down to the next one. Cross in front of that statue, come down to the next one. Now come and step in front of the next statue. And go across to the other one. Turn and come back down this way towards us. Here he comes. Stop and turn to, I think it says to his left, isn't it? And now stop and turn. At this point, he's come across a spot where there might have been a hidden door, and he's found one. So he's got to open that door and go inside and search for some treasure. He's got in. There's a vase. He can pick that up. Looks like there's a couple of rubble piles there as well. Lucky he's got Pangu's axe. I'll just go up from this different angle to get a better look. You can smash that rubble pile. Collect the ancient coins, and smash the other rubble pile, and collect some more ancient coins. Now he can come out of there and just go straight ahead to that door and go through it. And that has just disarmed all of those floor traps that he managed to walk around and avoid. But there is a pile of ancient coins on that pedestal, and there's another notice on the wall for him to read. And this notice says, "The statues do not lie. Their gaze does not stray from the path of life." The spot where Craig is standing, he looks straight ahead at a single statue, so he walks straight towards it. And it's pointing down that hallway, so he follows the hallway down where he discovers another statue. From the way this next statue is looking, Craig knows he needs to turn to walk along another hallway. Craig progresses to the next statue, but when he turns, he's faced with a blank wall. So he makes the assumption that perhaps there's a hidden door in it. And it definitely appears to be there, because he gets an opportunity to inspect the wall. That next room on the left looks a bit scary. The other hallway to the right looks very inviting, but I suspect it's very trapped. Aha, he's found the door. And it opens for him. And lo and behold, there's another blank wall, and he has the opportunity to inspect that wall as well. Presumably, hopefully, there'll be another hidden door for him to find and escape from this torture chamber. So frightening, so full of traps. No wonder he had to get to level 10 in martial arts. There's still no sign of mummies, and he's getting deeper and deeper into this tomb. So I wonder why he did need to get to level 10 in his martial arts. Maybe the mummies are waiting for him on the other side of that door. The door opens and Craig walks through bravely. He is thinking of ghosts though. Looks like there's another statue there looking down the hallway for him to follow where it looks. Remember, he's got to follow the gaze of the statues. He can see all the traps in the next room, but he can't get to them because there's a half wall in the way, or a fence. Now what? There's another statue looking along here, so you can walk a little further. There's a whole bunch of statues. They're all grouped up together. And between the three of them, they are looking at a spot in the wall where Craig gets to look for another hidden door. And there being a floor mat on the floor there indicates quite clearly that there must be a hidden door just there. We're seeing electric traps now as well as fire traps. This tomb's only getting scarier the further he gets into it. The door opens for him. The first thing he sees is a huge boulder in the corner. He can go and smash that boulder. Lucky he's got Pangu's axe with him. Treasure chest. Let's see what's inside that treasure chest. A food dog and some money bags. That's not much. He doesn't need any more food dogs. When he'd finished emptying the treasure chest, Craig had a look around. After all of the small spaces he's been in, this room seems immense. It's huge. The first thing he notices that looks interesting is a note stuck to the wall. So he goes over to read it. And it triggers something. That's interesting. Something's down below. So it looks like it's important that you read that note, or you might be prevented from doing something. The note says, "Very good, very good. So you have circumvented my traps and found a haven amongst death. Enjoy life while you have it, traveller. I await below. Dong Huo." Should Craig be worried? He's thinking about the lucky coin he's got in his pocket, probably hoping it brings him wonderfully great luck so that he can continue in his quest to defeat the terrifying Dong Huo. Suddenly, Craig remembers the treasure that he spotted and heads over to the plinths to collect a piece of jade, some ancient coins, a sarcophagus piece, and a money bag. Now he can go and investigate that other hidden door. He hangs on to the positive thoughts that lucky coin in his pocket is giving him as he makes his way to the end of the hallway to see if that door does indeed lead to something truly terrifying. He finally finds the latch and the door pops open for him. The dreaded moment has arrived. He is now through to the other side. What will he find? Craig enters a large room that's empty except for a staircase leading down and another staircase leading up. He's tired. I think we will continue this adventure in the next episode. Let Craig have a sleep before he continues in the lower level of this tomb, and we'll meet again in episode 73. So I hope you've enjoyed episode 72, and thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next episode. Happy simming.